Honorable Jagdish Kumar ji, Vinod Kumar ji, Avichal ji, Professor Vanjari madam, and all my esteemed vice chancellors representing different universities in West Bengal. Let me share some of the experiences in implementing national education policy at University of Mumbai over last 3 years. Particularly when we look at as an University of Mumbai, it's one of the oldest university now covered under category 1. The most important part of University of Mumbai that it is on the seashore. Okay, it covers almost 720 kilometers of seashore, and that's how you would see on the extreme left side. Okay, there are 7 districts which are covered under University of Mumbai, with around 913 affiliated colleges and around 8 lakh students. So particularly at Maharashtra state, because when I'm sharing experiences of implementation of national education policy, okay, I would like to take I would like to present certain initiatives that has been taken up by Government of Maharashtra. To begin with, Government of Maharashtra constituted a steering force so that different guidelines for NEP implementation on the lines of UGC Gazette and guidelines could be taken up. And that's how the movement for NEP implementation began. And then subsequently, based on all UGC guidelines, we had multiple government resolutions, one connected to UG curricular framework, another connected to PG curricular framework, then engineering, and then we had government resolution for honors and honors with research. And then probably subsequently, so that we could have a shared vision about implementation of NEP, and at the same time, wherever the students are moving from one university to another university. So for that specific purpose, for establishment of academic equivalences, so as to have a common academic calendar, Government of Maharashtra constituted Maharashtra State Academic Research Council, which works across different universities, wherein whatever the issues which the universities are facing, okay, those could be resolved. And in terms of particularly inter-institutional transfer or designing different curricular framework, the Mahasar supports all state universities in Maharashtra. And that's how they keep engaging different state universities through multiple nodal platform. Another part, okay, recently Government of Maharashtra has introduced another platform known as Mahadnyandeep, primarily because now up to 40% of the credits are being allowed to be taken up through an online mode. Naturally, we wanted to have some of the courses, particularly in regional languages, and particularly wherever we have an issue of academic calendar, the courses floated through Mahadnyandeep of Government of Maharashtra even could be taken up as a basis for working as an additional support mechanism besides Swayam Plus and NPTEL itself. Now, these were the certain initiatives which I have just presented before you. Now, I would like to move with my presentation, okay, wherein the very first thing, okay, I will request all the organizers to circulate my PPT so that you don't have to take photograph. PPT is available freely to all of you. Now, particularly for curricular framework, where different philosophical aspects of national education policy which were required to be implemented, like whether it is multidisciplinary learning or whether it is providing wider academic flexibility for choice of subjects, or whether you like to make the entire curriculum more connected with aspirational skilling, or wherever the student would like to take up a complete freedom in taking up subjects across multiple faculty, or taking up field project, community engagement project, co-curricular activities. Okay, so all those were supposed to be taken up in the form of a certain curricular framework, and that curricular framework was planned through NEP steering force at state level, and then particularly for arts, commerce and science faculty it was planned under 6 different verticals, where naturally the focus of the degree is being carried forward as a core or a major subject, and simultaneously the students are being given the choice of choosing second subject as a minor degree program, and in addition to this core plus minor, okay, then the students were being given lot of choices in terms of choosing multidisciplinary subjects called as open electives, or probably choosing different languages which could be taken up. Would you like to? That would be much better. So, if you look at the entire distribution of the courses which have been being provided, like first two naturally talks about the focus of the core degree and minor degree, but in addition, in order to facilitate the multi-personal aspects of a student, so then there are different verticals which were designed in the form of multidisciplinary subject, in the form of open electives, or in the form of co-curricular activities, where the students are allowed to take up co-curricular activity of their own choice. And based on this particular case, there were certain multiple curricular framework which were designed. As you look at, okay, so in the morning you have gone through the curricular framework as designed by University of Lucknow. Now here probably across Maharashtra state, the core degree, let us say if you talk about a 3-year degree program, then since you are supposed to have a 50% requirement of credits to be fulfilled on the basis of core degree program. So what we would see, out of 120 to 132 credits, around 65 to 70 credits are connected to core, 18 to 20 credits connected to minor, and then particularly skilling topics connected to core degree subjects, you would find around 8 to 10 credits specifically designed with reference to subject specific skills. In addition, whatever the soft skills that you are looking for, or a communication skill through ability enhancement courses, or engaging social aspects through community engagement project, ability or field projects, going for on-job training or internship either at 3rd year and again at 4th year in case of an honors subject, or going for a 12 credit research project, particularly for 4th year honors with research project, and that is how this particular curricular framework was designed in 2023, and in the first phase it was implemented across all university campuses and autonomous colleges. Then particularly since that was a transition period, and naturally in some of the universities the students were supposed to take 3 subjects right from 1st year to 3rd year, and that is how the degree system was defined, like a student would take up BSc, BA or BCom with 3 subjects together. So, we wanted some smooth transition. From that angle, another curricular framework which was implemented, where now in previous curricular framework the student would choose core and minor. Here in the first year you do not have to choose what stands for a core, what stands for a minor, rather the student will move for choice of 3 subjects as was the system existing previously, and then subsequently while moving for 2nd year the student would pick up one of the subject as core subject, another as minor subject, and third this subject would naturally will drop. So that is how the second curricular pattern which was being allowed. Now connected to this, okay, like in 2026-27 this year, okay, because we had now 3 years of NEP implementation, and that naturally talks about implementation of 4-year degree program in 2 different modes, one of them as an honors and another as an honors with research. So the first mode that was implemented, as we would see the 4-year UG program specifically in honors, where the students are looking for employability part, and from that perspective the overall credit distribution for internship has been raised to the level of 8 credit, particularly for honors program. Those who are interested in pursuing research career, and those who could score more than CGPA more than 7.5 could choose the honors with research as a second option, for which in the final year a 12 credit research project was separately designed. And now specifically for honors and honors with research, we have given an elaborate task to Board of Studies to design in a right manner. I would just present in some of the slides how the task was taken up. Now particularly for moving ahead with honors program, 4th year, introducing the 4th year, okay, the basic minimum requirement for a college affiliated to university was that they must have PG program in connected subjects, then only they would get honors program. So if they have UG and PG program in connected subject, then they don't have to take any separate permission. They could start with 4-year honors program on their own without seeking any permission. Similarly, for those colleges which have PhD research center and minimum 2 approved PhD guides, for them honors with research program was allowed as a natural growth. And simultaneously, since university campuses are normally focused for postgraduate program, so we asked university department to design honors and honors with research program as a backward integration, so that aspiration of the students could be covered even with reference to these two additional features of NEPA. Now I will just quote one example how the student could take up variety of the choices. Say for example, a student moving with chemistry pursuing like a 3-year degree program, which was a regular case earlier. Now after completion of 3 years, the student moves to the level 6 as per national credit framework, and accordingly the student would have a multiple choices. Either the student could go for 2-year PG program the way it was happening earlier. Those who are very good in academics and pursuing and have research capability, having CGPA for more than 7.5, could go for 4-year honors with research. Those who have like those who are looking for employability, and probably those who are willing to go abroad, particularly for which 4-year degree becomes a foundation. So for them honors degree as an additional option would have been provided. And of course, any honors or honors with research can take up subsequently 1-year PG program as well. So this is how variety of the options which are being presented. Particularly for commerce, which probably appears to be a very uniform faculty, but in general, when you look into details, then we would find there are several individual disciplines under commerce, and that's how we require a specific care to be exercised while defining honors program, because BCom moving to the MCom or BCom moving to the 4-year commerce program requires certain specializations connected to commerce program. That is how variety of the disciplines under commerce which were available were chosen properly, and accordingly honors system was defined. Now particularly for engineering, simultaneous to UG in arts, commerce, science, we went for engineering program also, where we introduced multiple important features connected to NEP, specifically going for multidisciplinary minor. Like an engineering student could choose now history as a multidisciplinary minor. So that particular feature was enabled. So while arts, commerce, sciences were their curricular framework were designed under 6 verticals, engineering either under 7 or 8, because AICT permits even 2 more options. One is like engineering program in an honors mode and engineering program with an emerging minor. So that naturally presents 8 different verticals. So this is how the overall curricular framework which has been arranged across 8 verticals for engineering program. Now particularly for PG, postgraduate program, you would say like you would have like 1-year PG program, you had 2-year PG program, you had 5-year integrated PG program. So all that has been defined specifically on the lines of UGC guidelines and the curricular framework for PG, with 1 internship module in the first year and a 10 credit research project in the second year was being incorporated. Now what is the current status today? When I am looking at So, there are 913 affiliated colleges, of which in 2023 there were 62 autonomous colleges. As I said, we started implementing NEP in the first phase with all autonomous colleges and university campuses. So, 62 colleges which were autonomous in 2023 for University of Mumbai naturally are moving to the 4th year program. So, those 62 colleges out, if you look at, they were running 169 PG program, out of which 58 have been have been taken up as a parallel mode in addition to PG honors program, and wherever they fulfill the necessary research requirements. Okay, 33 honors with research program was allowed to start, and that's how it got very good response as well. And as far as university campuses, which were mainly focused for 2-year PG program, they were asked to go for backward integration. So, out of 58 university department, 50 departments started honors program and 49 honors with research, and few departments started with 5-year integrated program as well. Now, particularly this was the overall curricular framework. Now, individually going with different verticals, we were very much familiar in designing a core degree subjects, but how to design the individual verticals connected to multidisciplinary learning, that was the key requirement, and that is where really the board of studies were being asked to focus properly. Okay. A board of studies, let us say physics in board of studies in physics may design easily the core or major subject program very easily, but it may not be so for minor, because a minor with taking up sequentially summing up to 18 to 20 credits is required to be defined properly. We organized the meetings of the board of studies in a sequential fashion. First, they were allowed to design only core degree, core subjects. Subsequently, they were given the task of designing minor. Like say for example, they were given a task. If a commerce like faculty is looking for a minor in mathematics, how the minor in mathematics would have been designed by a board of studies mathematics for commerce. So, that was the second task. Open electives were spaced across all faculties, and now particularly for open electives, okay, you may not like give any prerequisite for on say particularly for core subjects and minor subject. Naturally, you have a certain prerequisite of level 4, but when a student is choosing open electives, okay, the student would have probably may not have any background. Say for example, a history student has taken up a open elective of chemistry in everyday life. Naturally, 11th and 12th level 4, the student will not have any background in chemistry in everyday life. So, in what way the open elective has to be designed, so that it will fulfill the requirement of humanity student. That was a specific care which is required to be taken up. Particularly for language board of studies, they had an additional task of defining languages as a mechanism of providing communication skills. So, accordingly they were given a separate task. Now, as I said in the beginning, just to fulfill the differential requirement across Maharashtra state, the different combinations of core and minor subjects were taken. So, what I would see, like on the right hand side, that if you look at the table, particularly for science, what we would see, like those who were opting for IT or computer sciences to start with, naturally they opted for a fixed core subject. However, those who are willing for going for life sciences or maybe for mathematical sciences, they went for M1, M2, M3 kind of a combination. Particularly for commerce, as we would see, all of them opted for a fixed core and minor. So, that is how different distribution of core and minor was allowed. Now, particularly in this particular slide, I would like to present a specific example of minor being offered to the engineering. Now, a science student taking up a humanity as a minor, okay, that probably could be accepted very well, but an engineering student taking up minor in other discipline was probably a new thing, and that required lot of support. I am just quoting example of one of the affiliated autonomous colleges. Okay, what they did, like for an engineering students, they gave multiple options of multidisciplinary minor. Say for example, like the SPIT college had a direct MOU with Berkeley for specifically offering Indian banking. So we would see some of the students have taken up those Indian banking systems, some of the students have taken mathematics as a natural choice, but particularly since the that particular engineering institute had neighboring management institute, SP Jain. So they asked SP Jain to offer a management as a minor for their student, and that was really a very good credit transfer exercise between two different institutes. Now, as far as skilling is concerned, okay, as we look at curricular framework, around 10 to 12 credits are supposed to be taken up for a core subject itself, so that a electronic student could understand very well about the repair and maintenance of television or all electronic gadgets, or probably a chemistry student could take up a right understanding about the instrumentation. So that requires a separate design of the skilling program. So here probably designing a skill course one and developing a skill lab required a altogether different attention span, and in many cases the industry supported in a right way. Recently we are now talking about a highly skill oriented program, because we particularly, as you would see, we are on the seashore. Particularly some of you might have heard about Alibag as one of the famous touring spot. So across those 7 districts, we identified 12 different spots and then undertook a feedback exercise, and what kind of the skills or programs that are required for those locations, and accordingly they were planned with reference to different locations, and that is how probably the exercise became very fruitful. Now as I said, like we are offering different languages as an ability enhancement curriculum. Around 8 different languages are offered across University of Mumbai, particularly for foreign student, because we were offering 2 languages. So for foreign student, one of them could be English, but for foreign student it was an issue. So then particularly for UAE student, we offered Arabic as a second language as a communication skill enhancement, and then various value education program including Indian Constitution, environmental awareness, okay, those were made compulsory to be offered. And as I said, open elective, completely like a flexible basket providing lot of choices. So likewise 516 different courses across different faculty were designed, and few titles have been just presented before you for your attention itself. Now, but here one of the key problem that we come across is that how to teach this open elective, because a chemistry faculty teaching chemistry in everyday life to a history student, what kind of the strength, the pedagogical capability which the faculty must have, and different colleges have undertook different experimentation. I am just presenting one experimentation. What that this college has done, which is affiliated to University of Mumbai, okay, they did, like, because teaching open elective of course was a key challenge. So they mandated the first year student who had chosen open elective to make presentation before school students. Okay, they whatever topic they would have chosen, okay, they will prepare a right presentation. Maybe they were given a complete choice of choosing different concepts, maybe taking up a like a skit or maybe in the form of games, but they are supposed to present in the like before school students, so that they would develop their right confidence, because the history student has taken up chemistry, naturally he does not have any background. So when he is presenting before school with support of the senior, probably a right confidence could be like promoted, and that provides a real peer-to-peer learning, and that particular college has got copyright particularly for these pedagogical aspects. Now as far as Indian knowledge system or Bharatiya knowledge system is concerned, okay, IKS has been made mandatory as a generic subject at first year for all arts, commerce, science and engineering program. In addition, as per the UGC guidelines, we have promoted even under degree specific program, like a civil engineering may be looking at ancient architecture, or a chemistry may be looking at ancient chemistry. Okay, so that kind of a subject specific major core subjects were also being designed. Like these are the some of the, like in addition to generic subject which was common. Okay, these are some of the examples where for individual disciplines how a Bharatiya Jnana Parampara could be delivered in the form of a very subject specific title. Now here while delivering this, we took one particular exercise, because national education gives lot of stress on learning through mother tongue, and Mumbai is a cosmopolitan city, okay, where we would find every language available in the Mumbai city itself. So we just went for one experimentation. Like Bharatiya Jnana Parampara or Indian knowledge system was developed in 2 languages, in the beginning in English and Marathi. Then we just appealed to the faculty of different colleges and campuses that let us prepare, translate this version in your mother tongue. Like a Bengali professor from one of the college converted this Indian knowledge system into like a Bengali titles. I have brought with me 3 to 4 copies, which I would circulate to all of you. Likewise, there are 12 different languages which has been taken up. Okay, you would look at Tamil, Kannada, Gujarati, Punjabi, Bengali, Sindhi, Urdu. Likewise, Sanskrit, Hindi, of course, Marathi, English, they would be the natural choice. So that's how the 12 different like languages were offered, and so that was specifically designed in what way? Because in Mumbai itself, we have individual organizations. Say for example, organizations connected to those Malayali speaking citizens, or like those Tamil speaking likewise. So for them this became an handy tool, and in fact all of them came forward, supported financially to University of Mumbai in publishing books in 12 different languages. Okay, now talking about the online programs which is supposed to be taken up. Okay, as such, the large number of students connected to University of Mumbai are taking up courses on Swayam or Swayam Plus, and we are transferring those credit. Now recently UGC has allowed to conduct exam for Swayam courses which is taken up by the university. Our faculty members themselves are involved in designing courses for Swayam platform. Now Sathi portal is probably one which is likely to become very important in near future. Some of the faculty were involved, particularly for engineering. NPTEL is a routine part, and we have many institutions who have very good record of completing NPTEL courses as well. So just looking at say another example, okay, when you would find say the in particularly in 2025-26, 153 courses under NPTEL was offered to engineering students, around 1050, and they earned, and subsequently those credits were transferred to ABC itself. Now co-curricular activities, okay, so that was in another vertical, and the students were given freedom. Okay, the NCC and NSS was a known example, but we moved further. Like say for example, if the student is interested in taking up painting as one of the co-curricular activities, they were allowed. Or suppose some of them may be good in dance, that is being allowed. Okay, that requires naturally a different mode of analysis. Okay, because co-curricular activity is a field system. So we analyze their diary, which is maintained throughout the semester, and at the same time, when they learn one particular co-curricular activity, how that co-curricular activity is translated into participation in various programs, either connected to college or to the university or state level or national level, and accordingly the credits were given. Okay, the community engagement and field projects, particularly under community projects, the board of studies, we have a separate board of studies for community engagement project, which tried to engage multiple NGOs so that we could take up variety of the themes under community engagement project and accordingly move on. I will just present 2 examples. Like one, say we are well aware now, like the young generation, it's a frequent complaint that the young generation or even at teenage age, okay, they spend lot of time in watching mobile and likewise. So screen time appears to be very large. So one of the theme that was chosen under community engagement project was to guide teenage students how to keep away from the screen time. Okay, so and that's how initial field survey have given very negative results, but when they work for 30 hours per teenage student, like around 522 students participated as a part of community engagement, and they had a dialogue with 8,000 students, particularly childs, and there probably they made it a point to see that the student, at least the child, will remain away from the screen during meal or before going to the bed, or particularly study hours, and probably that was the initial success which we could achieve. Another success was connected to like senior citizen is another issue, where when the students were given this particular task, like 120 students went to the old age home and started having a dialogue. It was a win-win exercise. It was not only for senior citizens, it was equally important for the students. So what we have observed, like senior citizens naturally felt happy because they were having someone to maintain a dialogue, and particularly for students, okay, developing a right kindness, getting like connected to the elderly people and getting their wisdom as a guidance. Okay, that was an additional important point which they could achieve. Okay, so another community engagement project, probably that's on the very outskirt of Mumbai University jurisdiction, very close to Goa, Sawantwadi. Okay, they probably adopted 13 different villages and tried to understand what are their healthy practices. Like say for example in Sawantwadi, which is like the Sawantwadi itself has a kingdom over the years. So naturally they were very much focused on Modi Lipi, or some of like villages were taking up vermicompost or biogas as a routine exercise. The student could understand the community based practices through community engagement project. Another Sunday school. So what we like during COVID, there was an observation that there has been a lot of dropout at 10th and 12th standard. Those students were identified, and then it was converted to a community engagement that BA first year or BSc first year second year students were given this target of teaching those students on Sunday. That is how it calls the Sunday school, and it provided a very good result. Almost 50% of the students could move forward as a like taking up their education, otherwise they were completely drop out. Okay, now community engagement, so we tried to understand whether is it fruitful or not. Okay, so accordingly around 1500 students were analyzed, okay, and corresponding NGOs were also asked to move forward. So what we would say, like the different questions were asked, whether taking up community engagement project really improved your social and development issues. Roughly 50% says yes, and followed by 37.8%, which is moderate. Particularly on other, whether the task, because say for example either going for reducing screen time or working with senior age. So the second question was asked whether the college has rightly explained the task which was assigned to you. Okay, probably there we may need to make an improvement, because 50.3% said agreed, but 38.2% strongly agree. So we need to make an improvement so that those 50% will move to the 38%. Student feedback on community engagement project in terms of NGO. Okay, majority of them were happy, 55% with the NGO which was engaged. Majority of them felt that it led to the improvement of communication, it led to the improvement of teamwork, or probably community interaction. And so what were the problems they faced? Now Mumbai being a city with a lot of traffic, travel and transport was the key issue which was being presented. From NGO side, okay, the NGO, like we asked NGOs whether the student carried the task in right time. Okay, almost 95% said yes, but on other side, what about their performance? Okay, now here probably we will have to make an improvement, because only 32.4% stands for excellent, while probably 44.1% stands for good. Here probably we need to make a lot of improvement. Okay, now field projects have been defined, which is connected to subject by individual board of studies, and that's how different examples we would come across. Internship and on-job training, okay, that's an important part. 3 year, 4 credit, 4 year, 8 credits. Okay, so we need to make a lot of engagement with industries, and fortunately, Government of Maharashtra supported us. Okay, they issued a government resolution whereby the student is allowed to take up internship even at government department. For example, a law student can work with legal department, or let us say like a journalism student can work with a public relation office. Likewise, even at taluka level, even at district level, okay, the collectorate also supported individual universities very well, and that naturally was an additional support besides the support given by industry themselves. And so just to support that, the university itself, like as an University of Mumbai, we thought why not to utilize the skills of these interns. Okay, so we employed them as an intern. Some of them in like Pariksha Bhavan, where software is to be allowed to be developed, like as a help desk for admissions. Okay, that was very successful. Some of them work in our, like commerce students worked in our finance and accounts department, and in fact, I would like to tell you, they were better than our regular staff in terms of digital skills, and that helped a lot in fulfilling our statutory requirement of covering audit. Now, apprenticeship embedded degree program. Okay, so apprenticeship embedded degree. So we were fortunate. We are getting continuous guidance from Honorable Jagdish Kumar sir, and the first workshop on ADP was launched at University of Mumbai. And so that is how we could understand very well. So in the beginning, okay, over last 2 years, we have launched 25 programs, particularly in arts, commerce, sciences. Now, recently we made as per AICT guidelines, we have even designed apprenticeship embedded program in engineering as well, and that's how now 52 engineering programs are in pipeline. So now we had a very good tie-up with Board of Apprenticeship and Training Board, and support with industries, and that's how we are in a position to get very good support for apprenticeship for minimum of 1 semester and at least for 2 semesters. So these are the different programs, titles of the programs which have been started over the year, 2 years. Now, because this apprenticeship requires a lot of engagement with industry. I am just quoting one example, like how a pen technology program as a BSc pen technology engaged with multiple industries, so that a right apprenticeship embedded degree program can be taken forward. Okay, here it requires a tri-party agreement, student plus industry plus the college or the university department itself, and because there are a lot of issues connected to the safety aspects, and there are a lot of issues connected to discipline aspects from either side. So from that angle, wherever the student is going, the first important part that we always follow is to have an MOU. And this is a sample MOU with Pawan Hans Limited, Government of India, for particularly BSc in aeronautics. Okay, so this is how the recently a maritime week was organized in Mumbai, and now our student took like our apprenticeship embedded degree students participated there as in interns and handsome money. Of course, there are very good success stories, because some of them are getting very handsome apprenticeship honor as well. Okay, so that was primarily connected to apprenticeship embedded degree program. Every course has to be designed with learning outcome curricular framework as is being expected under National Higher Education Qualification Framework. And now when you are giving so much choice, that puts lot of pressure, particularly on digital system for conduct of exam. And now then identifying, if like in a class of say accounts, 50% of the students may be going for one minor and 50% may be going for another minor. How to tap them in a right way, that was the key challenge, and this is how a 7-digit code system has been developed by our IT system, so that they can be tracked properly. Okay, so that's how LOCF approach in different, so that outcome attainment can be very well designed. Particularly for community engagement project, field project, value education courses, you require a different assessment module, and sometimes you need to go for rubric as well. So that's how it is being highlighted. Now, of course, we will see the exit in the form of 4-year honors. Now, I did not count that, but particularly on postgraduate, we did observe around 7 students took exit in the form of PG diploma. We allowed, like, because some students, it was started in 2023. Naturally, in 24 or 25, some of the backlog students may join a regular stream. So, there you require a transition from non-NEP to NEP, which we allowed. Then we tried to have lot of flexibility, particularly we were running MSc in nanotechnology. We have very good nanotechnology department. So, where for second year, at second year, the engineering students, chemical, mechanical, electronics were allowed to take up a direct entry to the second year MSc nanotechnology itself. This is how the overall statistics. Of course, now just when I have seen in the morning, it has gone to 46 lakh 82,034 as far as state universities are concerned. So, around 57 lakhs probably upper IDs have been created across Maharashtra state, out of which around 38 lakhs of the credit have been mapped. As far as University of Mumbai is concerned, okay, we have created around 18.5 lakhs of upper IDs, and out of which 15 let us say 7 lakh credits have been rightly mapped. Okay, so that's where really now another part, because we were supposed to take up subjects design in regional languages. So, Savitribai Phule Pune University of Maharashtra has been given the task of as a nodal agency for designing subjects in Marathi language. So, we are supporting them, and that is how few books have been developed under Marathi. But in addition, besides developing, we are now allowing a bilingual mode, okay, in a sense that, say for example, in law, the question paper will be in bilingual mode and at the same time students can answer in bilingual mode. The student can choose English, student can choose Marathi. Okay, we have made that very good provision, and that has been very popular. Now, we are moving towards engineering also, at least at first year level, we are going for a bilingual mode. These are some of the texts which are being created. Now, University of Mumbai is a nodal agency for Sindhi language, and these are the books which are being created by University of Mumbai, specifically in Sindhi language. The professor of practice is another important part which gives you extremely good support as far as internship is concerned, as far as apprenticeship embedded degree program is concerned, as far as industry oriented research is concerned. Okay. Now, we are fortunate to have get very good support from different industries. On campus itself, we have 15 professor of practice, and across engineering college the number exceeds now 100, and even arts, commerce, science colleges are not behind. They are even hiring now professor of practice. Now, so the last point, like, because we are running a very large affiliation system, probably which is unparalleled, and communicating the implementation of NEP in a right mode to all colleges was a great challenge. Okay, because and we have 7 districts, very like it's very difficult to travel from Mumbai to the last point. Okay, it will require 2 days to complete and come back. So, how to have a right communication and how to have a holistic implementation. So, there we thought of having a geographical proximity based cluster system. Okay. So, like 913 colleges were converted into 109 clusters across 8 different academic streams. What those are? Now, let us look at. Say for example, like as I said, 913 colleges covered under 109 clusters, out of which based on geographical proximity, there are 55 clusters connected to arts, commerce, sciences. Education comes next, which is around 14, and likewise even architecture, pharmacy. Now, this gives you very good freedom of communication, very well. So, across, like if you look at, so we are on the boundary exactly on the seashore only. So, communicating from say Palghar to Sindhudurg itself is a tough challenge, but because of this lead college concept, we could maintain a very good communication. What we need to do is to talk to this 109 colleges only, that too in a discipline mode. If it is connected to arts, commerce, sciences, we need to talk to 55 lead colleges. In case of engineering, 7 lead colleges. So, that makes our communication very easier. and probably it fulfills several requirements also. Okay, UGC through one of the guideline has allowed sharing of resources. One of the key challenge that we faced in 2024, that many of the colleges started asking, you are talking about open elective, you are talking about multidisciplinary learning, and we are a single faculty college, how can we promote this? So, this cluster concept was given an answer, start sharing with each other, and that sharing really promoted in a multiple way. Now, it is no longer limited to NEP implementation only. Now, it is a sharing of sports facility or having sports like activity together, cultural activity together, submission of the research project together. Okay. So, several aspects are not being allowed, and the most important part like that supported us having 100% insurance of upper ID. Okay. So, you would have top down bottom up approach in promoting the decisions. Okay. So, this is how the overall cluster model which has been really successful now. Now, just connected to the few examples. Now, how we are moving at, because NEP talks about working together, and so I have existing in an isolation mode is not right thing. We need to work together. Savitribai Phule Pune University, one of the reputed university, and University of Mumbai are now are sharing 2 degree programs in a joint degree mode. Like they are good in energy technology. So, our student would be moving from University of Mumbai to Savitribai Phule Pune University, and we are good in nanotechnology. So, their students are coming to our university for second year, particularly for dual degree, because we are running one open and distance education institute, CDOE, where like a dual degree program, because they are running in an open, distance or online mode. So, College of Engineering Pune, one of the very reputed engineering college across India, now their students who are going for competitive examinations have taken up second degree, like say suppose they are going for civics politics as a subject for competitive examinations. Okay, then while they are pursuing degree, engineering degree, they will take civics politics subject at our stage, at our institute, and simultaneously they will have a very good preparation for competitive examination as well. Now, I would just like this is the one of the best example where you are sharing everything. Okay. In some of the cases, we are facing problems in terms of PG enrollment, and then like if you come together, then probably the number would be good. Individually, they were not getting good PG numbers, but when they shared all faculty as well as resources together they had 100 students, and now they are sharing everything. They are sharing their expertise in terms of teaching courses, they are sharing their laboratories, they are sharing their classrooms also, and they have worked very good financial model, and that is running very successfully over last 3 years. In fact, more number of colleges are now joining. Initially it was 2, now it is 4. See, you would find they have minutely decided, even if a peon comes on Sunday, what is to be paid. Okay, so another college, Podar, one of the topmost college in commerce, is working with engineering institute known as Vidyalankar, so as to have a right sharing. St. Xavier under one management, working with Xavier Engineering College, so that while they are running data science, they could utilize the computer engineering lab of Xavier College of Engineering. This is one of the best example, okay, where while you are sharing, while you are engaging courses commonly, okay, simultaneously you are pursuing research also. Terna Engineering College with another 5 institutes together, all are best, an autonomous college. So, they work together and had a dialogue with say the army and wanted to solve certain issues, technical issues. Okay. So, we would find okay, together they work on many prototypes, okay, which was subsequently transferred through another accelerator, okay, Marathwada accelerator for growth and incubation. So, they developed as a say bench scale, and subsequently on a manufacturing part the accelerator took care of, and simultaneously it realized into a 3-year BO course in defense technology, and now we are allowing them for 4th year entry into honors program as well. the top 3 institutes came together. Okay, it's not that strong and weak are coming together. Topmost college, RUIA is one of the topmost college in terms of NAC grade. VJTI, a very old institute. ICT known for its excellence in chemical technology. All of them came together just for sharing few courses. Like VJTI is offering courses on AIML to students of RUIA. Of course, faculties are moving, students are not supposed to move. ICT is teaching to the students of RUIA the courses on nutrition. In turn, RUIA is teaching them courses on critical thinking, economics and likewise. Okay, so that's how variety of the examples on sharing made feasible because of implementation of NEP. Now going as a last part, internationalization. Now because of study in India portal, now we are getting very good support, and probably within short period we could multiply the number of students. This year we allowed even PhD enrollment for foreign students also, where we are getting very good support from ICCR. So some of the students are getting fellowships from those. So and these are some of the joint degree programs which are being worked with different universities, and one of them, particularly St. Louis University, on the 3rd anniversary of NEP, we signed MOU with St. Louis University at Delhi in the August presence of UGC chairman Jagdish Kumar sir, and then we started multiplying in terms of now joint degree program with various. So we got award in terms of excellence in globalization because of those. Now that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Kulkarni, for this elaborate deliberation and showing us the best practices that University of Mumbai follows in order to implement NEP 2020. It is now my privilege to invite Professor Shashikala Vanjiri, Vice Chancellor, National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration, together with Dr. Ramanand, Director CPRG, to lead the session. Ma'am, may I kindly request?
Okay. Good afternoon. Namaskar.
Ma'am, do you want to call a mic? Yeah.
Awaaz aa rahi? I am here. I am representing NEPA. Respected Professor Jagdish Kumar sir, former chairman UGC. All esteemed speakers, Professor R.D. Kulkarni, Dr. Avichal Kapoor, all the officers from Higher Education Department, and esteemed audience. You will see that my presentation is totally different because I belong to NEPA. And NEPA, National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration, which was established by UNESCO way back in 1962. And its mandate is totally different. We do conduct capacity development program, we do conduct research studies, we go for consultancy and policy brief as well. We called ourselves as an extended arm of ministry. So we don't have many courses, only we have three programs. One is PhD program, the others two are Master in Arts, especially in education development and artificial intelligence. Friends, you will find some point of differences in my presentation. If suppose I am there to have capacity building program for the stakeholders, those they belong to higher education domain, then what I can do. This is the aim, this is the objective of my presentation. But before that, I would like to add preface to my presentation. And what type of preface? Because I bow my head to you all and to this land also. And I am very much thankful to Secretary Sir and Honorable Minister from West Bengal for being invited me here to present myself on the NEP, implementation and practices. I would like to remind you all about Bhagini Nivedita, who was the follower of Swami Vivekananda, and definitely all of us will be able to understand her thought, which was reflected in the book written by Bhagini Nivedita, Hints on National Education in India. And what was her perspective? You may be knowing about her contribution to the domain of knowledge. What she wrote in the book, if all of us are willing to bring transformation in education, then what could be done? And to take it further, she has highlighted 3 elements which are highly concerned in education. The first is people belonging to Bharat. भारत के लोग कैसे हैं? दूसरा उन्होंने कहा था geography of the nation, which is also very important. And the third, which is very prominent, and she gave importance to that element, and it is about mindset. We all know that how to implement the policy whatsoever. NEP की बात नहीं, इसके पहले आने वाली भी पॉलिसीज बहुत सारी हुई है, यानी 1996 न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी है, फिर कमीशन भी हुए हैं. बट इट डिपेंड्स ऑन व्हाट? इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द mindset of the people. If we are ready, we are willing to implement the policy, definitely we will achieve the goal of its purpose. What it emphasizes on shaping an education system rooted in Indian heritage, civic duty and practical skill. And that is totally, fully integrated in NEP document, NEP 2020. Now here, my entire PPT is in very condensed form. बहुत ही छोटा बनाया है. और suppose I am asked to conduct one program, capacity building program in NEPA, then how we work on that? That is my concern here. The policy title is same, practices and perspective and practices while thinking about its implementation. Very important, since the beginning, we are listening to the speakers, and the focus is we have to move from policy intent to institutional practices, and that was highlighted by Alok Rai and Professor R.D. Kulkarni. Now, moving to the next slide, the central question comes to our mind: what does implementation actually change? NEP implementation should be just less by the number of circulars issued and more by the learner's experience that changes on the ground. Now regarding this, first we have to acknowledge the policy, then we have to understand the policy, and third is we have to develop our insight. The second is regarding system. We have to understand the system. If system is not aligned to our goal, then we have to align with the system. Then practices, yes, we heard about the North state, Uttar Pradesh की practices भी हमने देखी, महाराष्ट्र की भी best practices हमने देखी, और आप लोग जानते भी होंगे, you must be well acquainted with different state practices. But at the beginning, we have to think what policy says, what is the goal of the policy, and what practices we have to adopt. And ultimately, outcome should be measurable. If it is not, then nothing will happen. Then next, this is the thought only. It is important to think, to have an insight. What you think is who you are. What you do is who you become. Your beliefs determine your actions, and your actions determine your destiny. Whether we are achieving the GR, which is set by the end of 2035, and it is 50%, we have to decide. I will skip this slide because already it has been highlighted in various presentations. Then come to the next slide. NEP 2020, the intended shift in higher education from narrow specialization to multidisciplinary towards well-rounded, creative and thoughtful individual. And to achieve this goal, it is necessary to have multidisciplinary approach from teacher-centric to student-centric, and towards facilitation, mentoring and active learning. We could see that and we could realize that because of these student-centric practices, we should be very acceptable and adaptable to the situation. Then from credential alone towards capabilities, values and employability. Because what courses you have taken or you have considered will give less importance, rather than how many students they have achieved their goal and they be in the system or they get into the job. That is very important. From rigid pathways towards flexibility, choice and lifelong learning. Then from silos, already we heard Professor R.D. Kulkarni, and they have adopted the system of clusters, lead institute. So with togetherness, definitely we will achieve the purpose of the policy. So it is very important to have clusters or the spirit of togetherness. Then and then we will be able to achieve the target. Then from domestic orientation towards global engagement with Indian roots. Yes, we should not forget our roots, because these roots are very important when we are thinking or we are planning to become a Vishwaguru or Krunvanto Vishwamaryam, then we need to have that spirit in us. Already, all of us know the trajectory of education, how this British Raj was working, and we were dominated by the English culture, and that has become the main characteristics of Bharatiya. So it should not happen like that. We should be aware about our Indianness. Bharatiyatva ka gyan hame hona chahiye. What is Indian perspective? Now see, in the, I think yesterday you had the discussion about school curriculum. And in the school curriculum, in the year 2022, the national curriculum framework was brought, and in the national curriculum framework for foundational stage, it is highlighted that the perspective from Indian point of view, or rather we can say that Indian perspective of education, and it is about what? The Indian vision of education has been broad and deep, including the idea that education must foster both inner and external development. Even when we connect with the Swami Vivekananda or his philosophy or his idea of education, what he says, the education means what? It is nothing but the manifestation of perfection which is already in man. So it is very important to understand the external development and inner development as well. Learning about the external world should be in consonance with learning about one's inner reality and his self. So it is very important, and that's why in the policy document many times it has been highlighted about the holistic development. So therefore, in the school curriculum, the Panchakosh has been introduced. But we know that bottom-up approach is there in education. So while aligning the curriculum, we have to think about the rootedness, Indianness. भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा का हमें समावेश करना है. उसका रीज़न ये है कि हमारा केवल बाह्य विकास नहीं तो आंतरिक विकास को भी हमें ध्यान में लेना है. And therefore, here Indian perspective, rootedness without intellectual closure. So this is all about the constitutional values, Indian knowledge system and global citizenship. So when we think about from national education to its internationalization, we should not forget about the roots. And next is, see, a practical implementation model, policy, system, practice and outcome. So policy intent is what? And then institutional design, because while listening to R.D. Kulkarni, you must be realized that the Board of Studies play a very crucial role in designing the curriculum. So policy, what policy intent is there, we have to align the content of the program. If not, then definitely we won't be able to get the outcome in a proper way. Institutional design, academic rules, governance and structures. Then faculty practice, you may be well acquainted with the questions raised in the session of Professor Alok Rai. What will happen to the 1-year degree, especially master degree? Then faculty practice, curriculum, pedagogy, mentoring and assessment. So at the same time, if we select particular content, we have to think about what pedagogy we are using. There are many problems about the integration of IKS component. Even many of us, they are not able to understand how to integrate this IKS component in the curriculum. So definitely, all of you are particularly in the domain of knowledge. You have to think about pedagogy and what kind of pedagogy would be helpful to integrate IKS component. Then faculty practice, after faculty practice, learning experience is very important. Choice, mobility, inclusion and relevance. Then the last and which is very important, learning, progression, employability and citizenship. Now here we must question at each stage what must change in behavior, not just in documentation. For the sake of completion of the policy, we are not there, we are not supposed to be there to lead the institute. We should have document as well as we should have the commitment and we should have the learning outcome. Otherwise, nothing will happen. Then next is the curriculum, flexibility, multidisciplinarity, outcome orientation is must. Then credit architecture, curriculum framework for undergraduate program, national credit framework, ABC and mobility. Faculty, of course, they should get the facilitation from the upper or hierarchy, and suppose sometimes they are not able to understand or cope up with the situation, we should have some mentorship, then practitioners, then researchers, or we have to facilitate and encourage them for the research also. Pedagogy and assessment, active learning, authentic assessment, feedback, then research and innovation. Already UGC regulation states that there are different things and it is expected to go in that particular way. Research development committees are there, then incubation, then societal and industry relevance. Even what happened, we know that the research is only for the research sake. So it should not happen like that. Research should be aligned with the national goals and national needs. So we have to look into that. Suppose I am getting fundings from the different agencies, but whatever the outcome I am giving, it should be beneficial to the society. So that social relevance is very important, and RDC should get advice from the leaders like you. Whatever the outcome they are getting, it should be aligned with the national spirit or with the national development. Then internationalization, mobility, collaboration, global citizenship. These are the 6 components or 6 implementation levers for HEIs. So with IKS, whenever and wherever it is possible, think about IKS component. Sometimes we feel that, or we may underestimate ourselves. This is not possible to include in statistics. This is not possible to include in management. But there are the treasures of knowledge which is aligned with the Indian knowledge system. So we have to choose and integrate in our syllabus. Then curriculum reform, flexibility must become usable choice. Yes, first consideration should be choice. Then, of course, whether it is major or minor or combination of electives. Already we had an experience with of Mumbai University. They have given the alternative subjects in their basket. So we have to take that example, or some model may be there. You can go for that. Mobility. Of course, mobility is very important. When we talk about multidisciplinarity, so we have to consider the mobility. Then next is integration. Already we know that different programs have been introduced by different universities. We have to consider any model which is suitable to your institute. Humanities plus STEM plus professional plus vocational learning. And the last is work relevance. Yes, the entire policy talks about experiential learning. It is very important. In few universities, since long, they have introduced this internship program. For example, SNDT Women's University. Before introducing this NEP 2020, they have adopted internship program in the last semester of undergraduates. So, what are the possibilities? You have to explore and go ahead. Then next, ABC plus NCRF plus multiple entry, multiple exit, the flexibility engine. This is the engine. So, we have to focus on learning, then definitely we'll distribute the credits, then it will go to the store of ABC, then again we'll transfer if it is required, and then we'll award. So these are the five what I can say that steps. So we have to align all these things according to this implementation discipline and official snapshots. Accurate academic records plus clear institutional rules plus student orientation. Sometimes they may get confused. What will happen to my degree? Even we, after reaching here, we were discussing about this transfer of credit, but I think we may be scared about this, but this is according to the regulation we have to follow and implement it. Official staff laws, 2,469 institutions on ABC, 32 credit plus IDs reported in MOE material. So this may vary because this is the older data. Then next, faculty are the implementation multiplier. So we know that faculty is very important pillar in the institute. The policy shift is not primarily technological, it is behavioral. What faculty members design, facilitate, assess and mentor. Very important role they are playing. The first role is designer. They have to develop the curriculum, and definitely LOCF is very important, learning outcome based curriculum we need. So outcome aligned courses and interdisciplinary experiences are very important. Second is he or she has to play the role of facilitator. Of course, he should be very active. He should or she should have dialogues with students, with experts, with academicians, with stakeholders, and definitely it has prime importance, or the experiential learning is the main focus in the entire policy document. Third is mentor. He or she has to play the role of, not only the role of teacher or giving instruction, academic instructions in the class, but she or he has to play the role of mentor. And definitely she will or he will reach out to the students for selecting their subjects. She may take care of his or her progression, then student support if needed. Even in the earlier presentation which was given by Professor Alok Rai, he has given that acronym, the Adopt the Brain for financial support. So likewise, you are very creative persons, you have that potential. Even our faculty members, they should have, and they can develop at their own. Then researcher, of course, suppose you take the example of NIPA. In my institute, every one of us, they are highly dedicated to research. So their specialization is in research. So whenever they do the research, they plan the research proposal, they are very meticulous to analyze the need. Even we conduct any program, first we go for the need analysis, whether it is fit for them or not. So even the faculty members, they are not well equipped with the research. They may have their PhD degrees, but sometimes because of lack of exposure, they are not adaptable to the situation. You can build their capacity and go ahead. And the last is connector. They have to be involved in the link, or they have to bring various industry people to the institute, and after that they will create, or it will be very highly supported to them to bring funds and even entrepreneurship. Then next is assessment, the hidden constraint on NEP implementation. If assessment continues to recall, curriculum and pedagogy will eventually revert to recall. How far? Measure learning outcomes. It is very important. If we are running only 10 programs, but still, if we are not getting outcome, it is of no use. So always, we should have in the back of the mind, what is the ultimate result, what is the ultimate outcome I am getting. So conceptual understanding, application, analysis, creativity and communication is very important. Use authentic evidence. If we are preparing any proposal for the progress of our institute, you think about the projects, portfolios, fieldwork, case analysis and presentations. Close the feedback loop. Rubrics, formative feedback, student reflection, remediation. These are the pathways or approaches. Can our current assessment system distinguish a student who can think from one who can only reproduce? This formula we have to implement. What is the productivity of each one? How he will give the outcome, and that outcome should be measurable. Only for the sake of degree, they are doing research, it is of no use, because we are investing money on that. So we should be, what I can say, that we have to take that ownership, and we are committed to bring transformation. Then next, research innovation. Connect knowledge to societal need, institutional research culture, student research pipeline, external relevance. Now institutional research culture, of course RDC you have, each one of us is having this RDC, seed funding, mentoring, interdisciplinary terms. So while conducting the research, we should have particular SOPs. We have in our institute student research pipeline, yes, inquiry, project, internship, dissertation, etc. Then external relevance, industry, government, community, international collaborators. Are research structures producing student opportunities and problem solving capacity, or only compliance document? This is the question to all of us, because not only for the sake of degree, it should give some output, and that would be beneficial for the society. Any topic, any theme, any problem will result into what? Into some product. It will give the last outcome in the form of some document, and that will be useful to bring some changes, transformation in the system, because we read many times this policy offers a blueprint. So then if we are talking about the blueprint, then definitely there would have been a result, and that result needs to be measured in a particular way. Then next is internationalization. Internationalization, global engagement with Indian knowledge and contemporary scholarship. Suppose you ask me what you are doing in NEPA, we conduct so many programs belonging to External Affairs Ministry regarding the capacity building programs. So whatever, because our institute is totally different, and if I would like to share with you the practices which we have in NEPA. We conduct so many training programs for the school leaders and for the higher education leaders across the Southeast Asia. So whatever the programs you have developed for internationalized students, you should be aware about global classroom, international content plus Indian perspective, virtual exchange, and internationalization at home, mobility, credit recognition, twinning or joint dual degree student exchange. We have signed MOU with Deccan University. We are developing one course with the collaboration of Deccan University. Then research, cross-border research on IKS, heritage, languages, sustainability and contemporary knowledge questions. Inbound, international students, faculty support system and brand building. Then next, what practice can look like? Already we heard the experiences of former Vice Chancellor of Lucknow University and Professor Alok Rai. He highlighted many things which have been undertaken under his leadership. Indigenous IT platform they have developed, named as acronym is as SLATE, Strategic Learning Application for Transforming Education, and it's a learning management system. Then University of Delhi, they have developed many things. They have developed some core courses, core electives. Then OP Jindal Global University, international faculty recruitment plus incentives, and they reduce teaching load for quality research, etc. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar University, Open University, Gandhinagar, targeted centers and customized program for disadvantaged learners and women development. Then the implementation lens, through this lens we have to see what is the picture. If suppose it is not according to expectations, you have to add some colors. So this implementation lens is very important. The first is diagnosing, map current curriculum, credit, faculty capacity, IKS readiness, pedagogy, assessment and student support. Then prioritize, identify the smallest number of constraints that block implementation, regulation, capacity, finance and data or culture. Whenever you wish to implement new thing, you first try out for the small group. Because R.D. Kulkarni is sitting with me, what has happened in the Mumbai University in the 2020, in the year 2020. They have adopted the on-screen evaluation and everything goes in vain. So first you diagnose the things, then implement at smaller scale and then go for larger scale. Then prioritize, ho gaya. Then design, assign ownership, redesign workflow, prepare faculty and define learner-facing processes. Then pilot and measure. Run bounded pilots, measure participation, learning quality, flexibility, then faculty readiness and IKS integration. Then the last is institutionalize, convert successful pilots into regulations or regular practices. SOPs, you try to develop SOPs, faculty development and then annual review cycle. This is all about my thoughts, and we are implementing or we are taking the help of all these points in NEPA while planning to do some course or capacity development program. This is all about my presentation. Thank you for your patient learning. Becoming the best version of yourself require you to continuously, becoming the best version of yourself require you to continuously edit your beliefs and to upgrade and expand your identity. Your identity is literally your repeated beingness. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam, for your perspectives, ideas, and showing us new ways of understanding NEP and implementation of the same. I know the audience has a lot of questions in mind, but let us take a short break. Let us take some tea and come back within 15 minutes. There will be a forum open for discussions with the experts. Tea is ready outside, but come back within 15 minutes, please.